See, here's the thing. Most people don't get what they want in life because they're scared to ask, scared to be told no, scared to look foolish, scared of feeling unworthy. But listen, closed mouths don't get fed. You ain't gon' eat if you don't say, hey, I'm hungry. The power of the ask most people don't receive because they never ask boldly. Now let's go deeper into something I need y'all to sit with for a minute, the power of the ask. See, a lot of folks never tap into what they're truly capable of, not because they ain't smart, not because they ain't talented, but because they never opened their mouth and asked. I mean really asked, boldly, intentionally, with clarity, and I get it. We've been conditioned by life, by rejection, by struggle, by fear, not to reach too high. Some of us were taught not to want too much, like we might offend somebody just by dreaming big. But let me tell you something that changed my life. Asking is not weakness. It's wisdom. Closed mouths don't just stay hungry. They stay stuck. See, asking does two things. Psychologically, it breaks the chains of limitation. When you ask, you admit to yourself and to the world that you believe something more is possible, that you're willing to participate in your own blessing. And philosophically, asking is a declaration of worth. You are saying, I believe I'm worth the thing I'm requesting. That takes courage. That takes inner work. That takes a decision to stop shrinking. But here's the deeper truth. The size of your ask is often the ceiling of your life. Some of y'all are living small because your ask is small. You're negotiating with life like you're a burden instead of a blessing. You don't get what you want, you get what you believe you deserve enough to ask for. So here's what I'll leave you with. If you don't ask, the answer is already no. But if you do, just once, just right, your whole life could change. Faith and action go together. Asking without belief or work is just wishing. Now, let me tell you something a lot of people miss. Faith and action a walk hand in hand. You can't just sit around talking about what you're believing for while your feet ain't moving. That's not faith, that's fantasy, that's daydreaming, you asking for the door to open, but you won't even get up off the couch and walk toward it. See, asking is the spark, but action is the flame that keeps the fire going. If you ask for a better life, you better start moving like you expect it to show up. Faith without works is dead. That's scripture. But let's break it down a little deeper. Psychologically, when you take action, you're training your mind to believe you're worthy of the thing you're asking for. You're creating a feedback loop. Belief fuels action, action fuels confidence, and confidence fuels more belief. That's the rhythm of growth, but a lot of folks, they get stuck because they're waiting on perfect timing, perfect opportunity, perfect conditions. Let me help you. Perfection is a lie. The truth is, the right time to act is usually right after you ask. Because that's when the fire's hot, that's when the desire is fresh. But if you wait too long, fear creeps in, doubt creeps in, procrastination becomes paralysis. Philosophically, this is what separates dreamers from doers. Dreamers stay in their head. Doers step out on what they can't yet see. And here's the thing, God responds to that kind of boldness. Not just lip service, real movement, real preparation, real hustle. So let me leave you with this. If you're bold enough to ask, be brave enough to move. Because faith without action is just a wish with no wings. Closed mouths don't get fed. If you stay silent, you stay stuck. Let me drop this one on you. Closed mouths don't get fed. That right there is one of the simplest truths you'll ever hear. But it's also one of the hardest for folks to live out. See, we live in a world where people are starving emotionally, spiritually, financially. Not because there's no opportunity, but because they've convinced themselves to stay silent. Scared to look needy, scared to seem weak, scared to be told no. But let me ask you something. How do you expect to be blessed if you won't even speak up? Silence might feel safe, but it's also where dreams go to die. Psychologically, silence becomes a habit. You start holding back what you want. And before long, you convince yourself you never really wanted it in the first place. You start minimizing your needs, your voice, your value, just to avoid rejection. But rejection ain't the enemy. Regret is, you got a voice for a reason. You were given the power of speech, the ability to articulate your desires, because that's part of how manifestation works. God didn't create you to suffer in silence. He created you to partner with Him, to ask, to speak, to declare. And let me tell you something, the world don't reward quiet desperation. It responds to confident expression. Philosophically, when you stay quiet about your needs, you rob others of the opportunity to bless you. Think about that. Somebody might be holding your breakthrough, but they can't release it if they don't know you're ready for it. So here's what I want you to carry with you. You were not put here to whisper through life. You were born to ask out loud, to speak your truth, and to claim what's already got your name on it. Your ask must match your effort. You can't ask big and work small. Now this one right here gone sting a little bit. Your ask has to match your effort. That's the part most people don't want to talk about. See, everybody's asking for something big. You want the six-figure salary, the dream relationship, the spotlight, the legacy. But the question is, are you working at the level of the thing you're asking for? Let me be real with you. God is not a genie. Life ain't some magic trick where you say a prayer, snap your fingers, and wake up successful. No, there's a principle at play here. You reap what you sow. You can't sow laziness and expect to harvest excellence. You can't invest minimum effort and demand maximum return. That's not how growth works psychologically, spiritually, or professionally. Let's go deeper for a second. When you ask for something, your subconscious starts looking for alignment. If you say you want to be a millionaire, but your habits reflect mediocrity, guess what? Your brain already knows you're lying to yourself, and that misalignment breeds frustration. You start doubting the process not because it doesn't work, but because you're not working it. Philosophically, this is about integrity, not just moral integrity, but energetic integrity. You can't expect your future to take you seriously if your present self isn't showing up with discipline. You're asking for the stage, but are you willing to rehearse in private? You want the reward, but are you building the resilience? See, asking is sacred, but it comes with responsibility. Because when you ask for more, life is gonna check. Are you ready to carry what you're asking to receive? So here's what I want you to remember. You can't ask like a lion and work like a kitten. Your grind has to echo your goals. God responds to bold faith. He won't give you what you don't trust Him with. Let me tell you something powerful that changed how I move. God responds to bold faith. Not timid, not half-hearted, not if it's not too much trouble kind of faith. I'm talking about the kind of faith that says, I don't know how this is gonna happen, but I believe you enough to show up like it already has. That's bold. That's faith with its shoes on. See, a lot of people ask for things while secretly doubting it'll ever happen. That's not asking in faith. That's wishful thinking with a side of fear. Bold faith means you prepare like the answer is already on the way. You walk like the job is yours. You save like the business is coming. You love like healing is happening. That's the kind of faith that moves heaven. Now let's talk real. Psychologically, bold faith resets your internal thermostat. You stop operating from survival mode and step into expectation. And that shift, that's what changes your behavior. You stop playing small. You stop shrinking in rooms where you belong. Because faith isn't just about what you believe. It's about how you behave while you believe. And philosophically, bold faith is a contract with the unknown. You're saying, I trust something bigger than me. That's humility and courage rolled into one. That's the mindset that built empires, wrote bestsellers, and changed family trees. But let me warn you, bold faith will stretch you. It'll make you look crazy before it makes you look chosen. That's why most people stay safe, but safe never shook the world. So here's what I want you to lock in. When you ask with fire in your spirit, because timid requests rarely reach a powerful God. But bold faith moves mountains. Don't be ashamed to ask again. Delayed doesn't mean denied. Now this last one right here. This one is for the folks who feel like they tried and it didn't work. You asked, you prayed, you moved your feet, and still nothing happened. And now you're sitting there wondering, was it even worth asking in the first place? Let me tell you something real clear. Don't be ashamed to ask again. Just because it didn't happen when you thought it would doesn't mean it's not going to happen at all. See, we live in a culture obsessed with instant results, microwave blessings. We want to plant the seed and see fruit before sundown. But God ain't on our schedule. He's on purpose, and sometimes the delay isn't about denial, it's about development. You might not be ready yet. The opportunity might not be ready yet. The people meant to walk with you might not even be in place yet. Psychologically, this is where most people tap out. The mind tells them, if it didn't happen the first time, it won't happen at all. That's a lie. The truth is, resilience separates winners from wishers. Asking again isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It says, I still believe, I'm still in the game. I know what I asked for has value, and I refuse to give up on it just because it took longer than expected. And on a deeper level, philosophically, asking again shows reverence. You're showing trust in divine timing. You're honoring the process. You're staying in alignment with your purpose even when the path feels unclear. So here's your word. Delayed doesn't mean denied, and silence doesn't mean forgotten. If the vision is still in you, the ask is still valid. So stand back up and ask again.